Hey YouTube, I'm on vacation. I'm in California right now visiting some family, and I wasn't going to make any videos while I was down here. Hadn't really planned on it, I guess. But I just finished watching a Rizzle Dizzle video, a Snake Plisskenist video on Freely the Fruit Bat Girl and her recent videos. And I was a little disappointed in Snake for his video. He kind of took the easy way out, and he went with the come get me lady argument, because she's recently said, do meat eaters deserve to live on the planet? And I expected something a little more cerebral from Rizzle Dizzle than that. So I was left a little underwhelmed, unfortunately. I've got my own thoughts on her recent videos, because she's had a few. She's had one video where she's a vegan, and she's an animal rights activist, you might say, certainly from her most recent videos. And one of the videos that she made, she said she was talking about the damage that we're doing to the planet, and I agree with her. I think she's right about I'm not certainly convinced myself about our impact on global warming. I mean, I'm not doubting that there is some warming taking place, or whatever's taking place is taking place. I'm not sure about our potential impact. Seen some recent studies about the lack of sunspot activity recently, and I think certainly if the sun changes its activity demonstrably either way, we're going to be humbled very quickly as to our actual contribution to our own climate. But certainly when it comes to depleted uranium munitions and all kinds of garbage and other pollutants beyond carbon dioxide, we really are making a mess of things. So I agree with her in that. And one of the things she was advocating for was mandatory vasectomies and people having to pass a test in order to be able to have a family, to give birth to children. And of course, those kind of things, authoritarian, totalitarian ideas like that never end well. I mean, it pays, I think, to be a student of history when it comes to those sorts of ideas, because those kind of things never end well. And of course, who are the deciders? And I mean, it just gets very, very ugly from that point on. And of course, mandatory vasectomies, I guess because it's easier for men to get that kind of birth control rather than tubal ligation for women. But of course that would require force, obviously, because I think many men would say, you're not doing that to me. And she's talking about, storing their sperm and that sort of thing. There's no chance that would go horribly wrong, right? So there's one. Then she made another video where she got quite a bit more extremist, and she said that she asked the question, rhetorical question, do meat eaters deserve to live? And of course her answer to that question is that they don't, because of the harm that they do to animals through obviously eating meat, but also other use of animals for different products and that sort of thing. And that was her answer to the question, was that that they don't deserve to live. And she made another video where she basically said that she's superior to people that eat meat. Are vegans superior? The answer is yes, and that's not because of just who she is. That you can be superior too if you choose the ethical choice and become a vegan, right? And there's a lot of obvious answers to those kind of statements, those kind of ridiculous statements, I think. So I think the problem is, in many ways, she's right. A lot of the ways that we farm and more specifically kill and butcher animals are pretty inhumane, I think. I mean, I can't even watch the trailer for the movie Earthlings. I just can't do it. I can't stand to see animals suffering like that. I think the problem, of course, is in starting to talk like, do certain people deserve to live? First of all, I don't really see the point in doing it. It's obviously an extremist attitude. This is how you know when you've become radicalized, is when you start talking like that. Do certain people deserve to live based on these kind of metrics? You started becoming, you are an extremist at that point. You've clearly become radicalized, and I don't think that this furthers the cause very well. And I think that's really the issue here. Freely is, I think she lives in Australia. She's actually quite a following. Pardon the sunglasses, it's too bright here for me to go without. Had to decline a phone call. She's got a large following, although she's lost some of it. And so she's a good person to get messages out about cruelty to animals in different processes, whether it's for food production or, you know, furs, or pharmaceuticals, or cosmetics and that sort of thing. She's got a good platform. And of course she'll rationalize. People have challenged her before. Well, you fly to these different conferences and meetups and whatnot. Oh, well, it's because she's doing such good, so she can rationalize away her carbon footprint or whatever. But she's got a good platform. And I think once you start talking like this about the idea, you know, should people be deserving to live if they eat meat, you lose a valuable audience. And the audience that you're going to lose is the reasonably minded people. And that's really the audience you want to keep. The radicals, who are probably not necessarily all that productive, again, because of their radical views, are you know, those aren't people you're going to lose. And that's a segment of the audience that you are going to have anyway. This is not a segment of the audience that you need to gain support of and help illuminate these issues for them. These aren't people that need to be educated. They've already educated themselves in those ways. So it's not really a benefit to you. Reasonably minded people everywhere are not going to listen for too long to you talking about essentially exterminating a bunch of people. And I don't understand the point of making those kind of arguments anyway, because you can't do anything about it. I mean, you are not going to pass a law against eating meat under which the penalty will be death, right? It's not going to happen. So what's the value in saying it? And she believes the value in saying it is that she's starting a dialogue, that she's getting people to look at these issues. At the same time, she's made a video saying that she's lost 1,000 subscribers in one day, and how does she feel about that? And she's a-okay with that. This was a good time to do a little introspection and do a self-check. And she doubled down instead, which is unfortunate, because that would have been a good opportunity to apologize, you know, or to do a course correction. That was a great opportunity for a course correction, to lose that many subscribers in a day. And she's doubling down. And again, I think the issue there is that you're losing the reasonable-minded people out there. They're just not going to put up with that kind of talk. They recognize the fallacy there. And you know, let's keep in mind, you know, we are cruel to animals, and we are very cruel in the way that we farm quite often. And some of the things that happen to animals are absolutely atrocious. But the animal kingdom itself, nature, is not all that. It's not all cotton candy and rainbows either. The animal kingdom is very brutal. You know, the animal kingdom won't treat you too well if you go into nature unprotected. So that's not to say that that's a justification, but there seems to be a sort of, you know, a sense that everything is great and peaceful in the animal world, and it's not. Now, we should be better than that. We're the rational ones. We're the ones capable of the kind of critical thinking that can recognize unnecessary suffering, and certainly recognize when we're causing it. And you know, there was another video that she had commented on where Freely was talking about something that the guy had said, where he said, she kind of quoted, or, you know, I'll paraphrase a bit here, that, you know, the earth is their world. The natural world is for the animals, and we're like unwanted house guests that are overstaying their welcome. No, we're animals too. And I think it's healthy to have a recognition of that, because if you really want to change things, you've got to recognize, you know, obviously we need to eat, and there are historical, you know, status quo here that we need to recognize before we can change it. and just running around saying, you know, you should all be controlled, you should have vasectomies, we should control, you should have to take a test before you can have children, and that meat eaters may not deserve to live, or anybody that uses cosmetics or pharmaceuticals that are derived from animal suffering or just from animals at all. This is not a helpful way to do that. And being a student of history, I think, helps as well, because you have to have a recognition for how, unfortunately, slow our progress as a species has been. For animals as rational as we can be, it's unfortunate that we are so damn slow to change. But we are. It took us a very long time to eradicate, at least in the West, the enslavement of other human beings. It took us quite a long time to legally extend the same rights and privileges to women as to men. It's taking us a long time to recognize the rights of children, and you know, what kind of discipline is actually you know, ethical and that sort of thing. Unfortunately, it's taken us a long time to recognize animal rights, but it's slowly happening. There's a distinct difference in different parts of the world in the way that animals are treated and recognized, and that's slow to change. It's unfortunate, but we're not going to change it tomorrow, and Freely the Banana Girl is not going to change these things tomorrow by making sort of veiled threats or not so veiled threats, and talking about sort of authoritarian, totalitarian ideas of how to control these things. It's just not going to be something that's going to be effective, I don't think, and it's just not reasonable. And again, the people that you lose when you start to talk like that are the reasonably minded, and that's the audience you want. That's the audience you want to keep. So losing 1,000 reasonably minded people in a single day as subscribers, that's not healthy for the message that you're trying to get out. And I think Freely is probably right in a lot of her ideas in terms of damage to the planet, harm to animals, health, you know, health and well-being of human beings themselves, and that sort of thing. But you know, way to screw up a message by essentially threatening the lives of the very people that you would want to reach with that kind of a message. The only thing that she did that was smart, I think, in her one video that was about should these people be allowed to live, was in the comment section below, the description section below her video. She said, you know, instead of watching this video, here would be a better use of your time. And she linked to, I think, the documentary Earthlings, which again is a movie that I can't even watch the trailer for. It's too horrific. And it's unfortunate that obviously that horror is just everyday practice. And so in that sense, I do agree with her. But we need to reach people because these kind of threats don't start dialogue, they end dialogue. And even more importantly than ending dialogue, any focus that she's bringing to the issue is lost. Because what are people focusing on? I mean, this video has made the rounds in my YouTube world. I've seen all of a sudden my G+ feed was filled with people commenting on this specific video that she'd made. And what are people focusing on? They're focusing on her. Freely, if you ever see this, I doubt you will, but if you ever do, that was your mistake, see? Because they're focusing on you. They're not focusing on the animals. They're focusing on you. That's a mistake. Anyway, just thought I'd share my thoughts. Thanks as always for watching.